Welcome to Tough Conversations with David Wood, where play meets depth. We help teams and high-performing leaders like you to master your tough conversations so you succeed in your career and in your life. When we avoid tough conversations, we stay small. Teams stay disengaged, conflicted, and ultimately end up quitting. When we lean in and master our tough conversations, they become the defining moments that literally shape our careers, our relationships, and our lives. So let's dive in and master your next tough conversation so you can be the leader that you would follow. Let's play. Welcome to this exciting episode with Byron Katie, one of my greatest teachers. In this episode, we're going to look at a very tough conversation, which is making a sale. And specifically the tough conversation you have with yourself. And this is about offering any kind of a service. Let's suppose you're a professional, you're a coach, you're a consultant, or you're a salesperson, or even you're within a corporation and you have to offer your services within other departments. So what's the conversation you have with yourself about, are people going to think I'm pushy? Am I good enough? Let's dive in with Katie and look at the vulnerability of offering your service to the world.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello, Katie.
Hey, how's the city by the bay? How's the David?
The David is good and the city is beautiful and you're looking beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Coaches want to make a difference in people's lives. I talk to a lot of people who they almost can't believe it's true that they could sit down with somebody and help them in their life. And then when they consider that they could maybe even get paid for it, I know they want it so much, but there's so much that comes up to stop them, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have so many thoughts about other people, like I said the wrong thing, or they don't understand what I'm saying, or what are some that you have encountered, David?
Yeah, well, I did a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, and I came up with some good ones.
Good.
And people have also sent in some one-liners. A big one is, I'm not good enough to coach. You know, who am I to guide someone in their life? What if people discover I'm a fraud? I don't have my own life together. How can I coach others?
Yeah. Well, you know, if someone thinks, you know, I'm not good enough to be a coach, they could be right. You know, so for me, first I would consider that I really could be right. Maybe it's not my thing. Maybe it's something I want to do, and maybe it's just not my talent. So, you know, I'd really look to that. And what I've learned for myself, David, is I was always coaching my children, coaching my husband, coaching my, you know, the people around me, my friends, but my information was not that great. And those people that didn't listen to me, I'm really grateful for that today. But then when I began to coach myself, and see where I was a fraud, where I was deceitful, and I began to wake up to that, then I became, and it's nothing I decided, but I just naturally became someone that people could listen to, that people could relate to. Some people saw some value in some of the things that I say. And that came out of just coaching myself, knowing myself, and just clearing the field of all that inauthenticity. And so that I can, when I do speak, if no one else finds it valuable, I do. As I coached, I grew, my clients grew, and I continue to grow. Somewhere in that environment, one person is growing for sure, and that person is always me. But it's quite a responsibility to oneself to remain authentic, and that can be really fearful for some people. But the more we know ourselves, the less fearful we become. The more intimate we become, the more connected we become with ourselves, the more connected we become with others.
So what I'm hearing is, in a coaching session, I'm going to get value out of what I say because I'll be listening to myself.
Yes.
And if they get value, that's a bonus.
Yes. Yes, and I already know my lies. I already know my inauthentic self, and I've heard enough of that. So it's into the new. It's into self-discovery. Now, people are fascinated in that because it's something we can connect with. And as coaches, or as a coach, that's beautiful. It's effortless to coach.
I'm also hearing here, work on yourself. If you have doubts about, do I really have what it takes, or do I have a lot to offer, work on myself first. And then as I get clearer, I'll be able to offer more to others.
Oh my goodness, yes.
You mentioned being authentic. You've said it a couple of times. What do you think of the idea of a coach telling someone that they're sitting down with if they're nervous, or telling someone if they've got thoughts about, my life is not together, I'm not perfect either? What do you think about just laying that out on the table?
Well, it's in line, for me, it's in line with authenticity. Just to put myself on the table. It's nothing I have to do, but it helps me as, let's say, a coach. It helps me come to the table with connected and not, and from the space of equality rather than I'm here to teach you.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. I think a lot of coaches, and me included, we often want to have an image like I'm a teacher and I have it together, and let me show you how to have a better life like I do. But then what's eating away is my life isn't perfect. I don't have it all together.
Yeah. And as far as like, for example, if I thought I had it all together, it's like, how could I know that? I have a whole apparent future to live. So how do I know if I have it all together? I don't know what's coming next. So to say I have it all together, I just really would want to look at a statement like that. Because, and also, if I believed I had it all together, I'd have to live up to that. I'd have to live a life of proving it. And that's a major burden. That's too much for me.
It is. What I'm hearing here is a real vulnerability to say, I'm human, I'm everything. I'm not going to try and pretend to be something else with you. You're going to get to see different sides of me. And I'm here to help.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that is someone that I'm comfortable sitting down with.
Do you ever have doubts getting up on stage?
No, I don't. I'm not. There's no attempt to live up to being seen in a specific way. There's no. I don't know who I'm going to be on the stage, so we all get to find out together. It's just so. It's just the first time someone asked me to speak to an audience, I thought, my goodness, because I was agoraphobic for so many years, the fear of the marketplace and of people, and to just stand there and just wait to see what would come out of its face, But when you understand that. It's like I understood I'm here to help, and maybe the best way of doing that would be just to stand on the stage and say nothing, and that is a lot more to offer than standing up there as a facade and pretending to be someone I'm not. I'd rather say nothing. It's kinder. And, standing on that stage, something did come out, and I liked it, and they seemed to like it, and they all stood afterward, and my first thought was they're just, they're running out of the building, but no. They just stood up to applaud, and that was really fascinating. And things like that just show you the way. It's okay to be authentic.
I'm picturing now a coach sitting down with a new client or a potential client and saying nothing.
Yeah.
It seems a radical idea to not have to lead, not have to tap dance, and to just say nothing until there's something to say.
I just don't know anything more powerful. There's no stress, there's no push, there's no pull, there's no expectation, and it leaves that coach in the position of being the listener and the one that can really take in what they're hearing from their client and to respond out of that. And that would be a real service. There aren't many listeners in the world.
This has come up, for me, with you a number of times, you keep on reminding me so gently about the need for approval. So sitting down with a potential client or getting up on stage or calling someone to say, do you want to experience coaching with me? One of the things that comes up for new coaches is I'll be bothering people, or they'll be annoyed at me that I'm trying to sell them something.
Well, for me, I just wouldn't sell. I wouldn't do that to me. I just, when you really understand yourself and you understand your life is about serving others, and that is how to serve yourself, then it just is, you're someone that people gravitate toward. And, it's okay to sell yourself as long as what you're selling is authentically yours. There's that word again, that it's really something you can offer. That's okay. People have a right to know that. And, but I think that's the line. And no one comes to me that isn't the right one.
And I want to give a plug for the school too. Now might be a good time. I went and did the school with you, the 9 days.
Yeah.
And there's an exercise that we won't speak of because it's a nice surprise. And you said to everybody, with us standing in a circle, is the universe friendly? And with tears streaming down our faces, we all just nodded.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of head stuff, and you can think intellectually, but this thing did profoundly move me in a way I haven't been before. So I do encourage everybody to go and do the 9-day school for the work.
It shifts the way we see ourselves and the world in a profound way that is real. So we're not making ourselves think positively. We're really experiencing the universe honestly as kind. And when we don't see it that way, we can still see glimpses and until, finally we just come to an understanding of our true nature, and then everything out of that is really lovely.
Thank you.
I love you, honey.
I love you too, Katie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Welcome.
Bye.
You've been listening to Tough Conversations with David Wood. Now it's action time. Mastering your tough conversations will have a major impact on your team, your company, and you as a high-performing executive or entrepreneur. If you're ready, request a discovery session with me at playforreal.life so we can transform your team, your company, and you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love you to help me spread this message of tough conversations in a very simple way. Just leave a public review at playforreal.life/podcast. And you may hear me read it out loud and thank you live on a future podcast. Now, let's play.